Good evening, guys. Welcome to part 2 of today's market review. Part 2 being ticker requests. Let's get right into it. There's quite a bit of tickers. First one, FSL, requested by iTradePersonnel. Alright, on the daily, there is no red flag yet, and we are making higher highs. Just about negating this very well, I wouldn't even call it a bear flag. So close that high of day. Looking good for a gap up tomorrow. Ideally, you want to see a gap. Earnings coming up on the 20th. Alright, so a couple scenarios here. We could be looking at running straight into earnings as we are on increasing bull volume. That has only just following through right now since this long-term downtrend. Couple of targets I'm looking at. First is if you're running this from the low of back here to the high to the higher low, and which lines up with the other target, the low of here to the higher low. First target makes sense, also lines up with psychological number. I'd be looking at about 20 bucks. From there, I'd be looking at about $21. So considering if we were to gap up, most ideal would be gap up and run tomorrow. Let's say that if we were to gap up right at that price point around $21, that would be a sell signal. Partly because one, you're gapping up into resistance, and second, we're going to be extended on the daily from the daily 8. So just something to be on the lookout for. Target 2021, no red flags. Chart's looking amazing. Second, BNGO, requested by Kwanzaa. Let's delete this. It's on the daily, decreasing bear volume, lack of follow through on the bull volume, holding the daily 8. There is no red flag yet. Again, this is a chart that it's not easily traded, as the TAs don't work that well. Seems like it still respects the ABNB, so use that as your guide. As mentioned, I believe last time I reviewed was somewhere back here. Use the daily 8 as your guide. For 8 might be good to use, but we can see that there's a fake out that got bought right back up. So depending on your time frame, if you're looking to trade this long term, use that daily 8. If we lose the daily 8, which is actually very nice now, it's coming up, catching up to the chart, the price action itself. If we lose the daily 8, we'd be looking at the gap fill. So nothing's changed, not too much has changed on this chart except the gap up with decreasing bear volume. Next, BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond, nice follow through today. Double top broke by a few pennies. Decreasing bear volume, a little bit of a red flag. Nothing noticeable on the RSI. Yeah, just a little bit of a red flag. So we want to see a follow through right away tomorrow, ideally on increasing volume, and break the resistance right here, 22.18. We want that break right away into GP, and maybe we get a reject. GP sort of lines up with the 22.8. If not, the more likely scenario that I'm thinking, because of how big of a run is this? My tool is not working. 21.2%. Because of the run that we've had over the last 4 days, my thinking is we might open flat. I'm not checking the after hours. Let me take a quick look here. Okay, after hours we are up. So we might be opening right on resistance and then reject from there. Very likely scenario, open on resistance and reject from there. And then from there we'll look at a back test of ideally around the 0.382, which is a noticeable level as well. You can see reject here, reject, support, support, reject, reject. So it's somewhat of a noticeable level at this area. Come back, retest the 0.382, then set up the next leg up. Once we pass this 22.18, there should be a nice move. This chart is actually looking pretty nice for continuation. We'll be looking at a gap fill up to 23.88 with a GP in between as a resistance, potential resistance. So this chart looks nice for continuation, but we will need that higher low. Based on the wedge that we broke, this is a 42%. So from here, 42, we're looking at target about 26 bucks. Let's see if that makes sense, guys. On the long-term run, okay, it's showing higher. So first target would be about 26, which would line up with the previous high. Lack of resistance is on the way up. Looks good. If you're in there for the long play, keep at it. Use the, as long as we don't break below the, I would say even the 0.5, there's no substantial red flag yet. Next, REGN. The next 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next 5 are my personal top watches. REGN is looking primed for reversal. We are seeing somewhat of an action already, an increasing bull volume on the daily, seeing a higher high, trend reversal. Now we're going to want to see a lower high, then go from there. So I will be looking out for this play on the lower high. We'll likely enter this trade. Keep an eye on it. Love the setup. I think there was a wedge that was in here. Been a while since I looked at this chart, but let's give it a, let's see, right somewhere around here. Doesn't seem to work that well. Actually, it looks more like a channel. Yeah, so it's in the channel for long term. Now we're looking at a reversal. First resistance we're looking at, it's going to be right around here, 525. Okay, TradingView is not very cooperative tonight. It's going to be somewhere around there, but in the meantime we're going to need a higher low. Next, Snow, one of my top watches again. Loving the setup. Let's clean the chart up a little bit. Delete. I want to keep that. Alright, so we had a nice bounce, very nice bounce, 22%. Okay, just a decent bounce. Rejected from the previous support resistance area and GP from the last fall. Then now we're seeing a support / bounce from the GP right here, which let me draw it for you guys. So from here to the bounce, the top of a bounce, and we are seeing a bounce from the GP right now. Now when we look at targets, most ideal scenario is to start bouncing from here, which we are seeing if we zoom into the hourly. Gonna want to see some follow through right away. It is still in a downtrend, so keeping a close eye on this one. once the trend reverse confirms, we're going to be looking at first resistance, the higher previous bounce, 325-ish. From there, we're going to be looking at resistance area about 341. Then probably looking at making a higher low into the GP. That's what my anticipation is. And there is a daily inverse head and shoulder forming. Next, LAZR, however you want to pronounce it. Okay. Alright, so this one is a very nice setup in the wedge right now, on the lower end of the wedge. So it is a low risk play. If you are looking to looking for something that's low risk, potential high reward play, this is going to be one of them. Relatively new chart, is it? How come the daily was showing different? Oh, this is one of those confusing ones. Yeah, so relatively new chart. Nice entry down here yesterday, or first thing this morning, as I mentioned in my last video. Personally, I decided not to take this trade just because right now I'm waiting for that market bull confirmation before going aggressive on bull plays again. I am in a few bull plays that I am fairly confident, or giving it time. This one I would be confident. There is somewhat of a long-term wedge here, harder to draw that one, but yeah, nice play. Keep an eye out for it. Fubo, Eminence one, or was this earlier today. We were in this trade for some time. I think our first trade here as a trading group trade was here. Had to wait for a couple days, saw the nice bounce, exited here. Then I can't remember which one was it that we re-entered on, and we finally broke out of this descending wedge. Very nice gap up and run on volume. Stalled somewhat of a bull flag during the day, waiting for that EMA to catch up. Then from there we saw increasing bull volume. This end of day move was really nice. So coming to tomorrow, the anticipation is at the very minimum we should. Alright, couple scenarios. We already hit that potential resistance zone. Let me zoom in and take a look at this one. Yeah, so we already hit this zone. Let's drag this out. So tomorrow, it's either we're gonna continue running and hit the top of resistance zone, or we're definitely gonna start seeing some stall because the 0.3 is here as well. Be careful if you're in the trade. Never hurts to take some profit, even if you wanted to keep your core in. This name is gonna be an amazing run. There is multiple gaps above. There is one gap from here to here, from 41 to 43, and then following that there's GP in between, then another gap 50 to 52.5. so lots of upside, similar to QS. Next, SKLZ, still in this trade, forming a bull flag on the hourly. On the daily, I exited 2/3 of my position because it did hit that 1-to-1 extension target, $25. No significant red flag yet. I am playing this. Every play that I'm playing lately, I have been a little bit more conservative than normal because of where the market is at. And if you haven't looked at my market review, make sure you just look at the first video that's going to be uploaded, or most recent video that's uploaded. So today we saw a gap up run, a little bit of a pullback. We are forming a bull flag on RD8 on decreasing bear volume. Chart prime to go. Look at the last time we formed bull flag. Chart prime to go. No reason for selling it. Next, snap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that's the top 5 tickers I'm watching, aside from the other 5 from market review. Snap is doing amazing. It's just the run is just starting. Increasing bull volume from here and increasing bull volume right after low bear volume. In my opinion, this chart has room to run. Blue sky name looks amazing. 4 hours, no red flags. Hourly, if you're in the trade, use the hourly 8 as your guide. Increasing bull volume, no potential bear divergence forming. Nothing substantial enough to signal an exit yet. Hourly 8, more than conservative. Even if we come back to test this previous high, it makes sense. As long as we don't close under the hourly 8, no reason for you to exit. Next, solo. I believe it's blues. No, almost not blue sky. Increasing bull volume, having a real nice run. There is lack of resistance above. The only resistance we're looking at is roughly, come on, TradingView, 925. This name is, it's gonna go. No short-term need for exit yet. Again, guys, plenty of bull plays out there, even with the sideways choppy action on the market. Plenty of bull plays. In somewhat consistent bull volume, not extended yet. Tomorrow, what I'd be looking for is, this actually goes all the way back here. Tomorrow, I'd be looking for is either a gap up straight into resistance, which we're seeing quite a bit lately, or a flat open, run into resistance and reject. So 9.25 is the point where I'm looking for a stall or a reject, which makes sense because it's close to the 1 to 2 extension from this last move. What if, let's see, what if we run it a little bit further, because this one, yeah, this one doesn't make sense on the longer time frame. Let's run a fib extension that makes sense. $9. Does that make sense? Somewhat, because this candle did not close over it, so around the $9 area, 9 to 9.20. If you start seeing bear volume show up on the shorter time frame, that's your exit signal. This one's a little bit more, if you're in the trade, keep a closer eye on it. Keep a tighter stop as we get extended. On just try to point at the chart and then realize my camera doesn't show. Anyways, as we get extended on the daily. Next is ABNB. I'm in this trade, been in it for some time. Entered somewhere on the back test of a daily 8 here. Then added, I can't remember, it's one of these two candles, one of these 2 days. I'm looking to go long on this play. This one is for personally planning for vaccine play. Same with airlines and oil and a couple of those too. No reason for me to exit. We held the higher low, even though we broke it by we broke the GP. It is a relatively new name. I'm okay with that. So plus I added here. So looking at this, you know, held the trend line. This was the perfect entry. Had this zone drawn out last week before. Had this trend line drawn out, you know, if you weren't in, I hope you guys had looked at my charts before. This was the perfect entry. Then from here today, what we saw was a spike in bull volume. Okay, this was first thing this morning. Came back tested the trend line, got bought up. That's your go signal. From there, it's gone. You came back on low bear volume, retested on the already 8. If you weren't in, that's your add signal. And then even if you were in, that's your add signal. Then boom, boom. Trend line break. Relatively low bear volume. We might be looking at a back test of this trend line, followed by our next leg up. Amazing chart. What are we looking at for targets wise? I'm actually quite intrigued about this. Long-term play, again, vaccine play. First target, 190. Where's this one drawn from? Okay, this one doesn't make sense. First target, 190. Second target, most likely around 200, then 220. Love the chart. Lemonade. Next ticker. Lemonade. Interesting chart. Increasing bull volume comparing to last 3 days, which were decent move. However, today an upper wick started forming. I believe I was looking at this chart early in the morning. Yeah, we popped up, then sort of faded down. Increasing volume towards the end of the day. Increasing bear volume towards the end of the day, which leads me to think potentially the top is in. Let's take a look. 1 to 1.618 extension. Off by 19 cents. Potentially tops in. Look at this chart on the weekly. We're way far extended on the weekly. Starting to form a reversal candle on the weekly as well. Most likely going to be a volume climax if we were to stay up here or even come back down to form that weekly reversal candle. Be careful if you're in a trade. Not exactly an ideal spot to enter. If the chart remains bull, you can expect a daily bull flag to form. Something along the line of this. But it makes sense we're rejecting from here. 1 to 1.618 target rejection. Whew, that was hard. Lemonade. Next one, PTON. Chart's looking good on this on PTON. And let's clean it up a little bit. Run up. We lost the 0.382 slightly. Got bought up right away. One candle that gapped down and lost it. Held the 0.382 from there. Most likely have the higher low made from here. I would still expect somewhat of a sideways pennant to form. This one seems a little bit harder. Low volume, nothing convincing yet. No pattern to be established yet. Give it a few more days. Let's revisit this chart. There's nothing clear on this chart, but it is a good chart in the sense that it got NASDAQ uplisting, and it held the run up to NASDAQ listing very decently on low volume, no sellers. Keeping an eye on this one if there's enough room on my screen real estate. Not one of the primary watches for me, for sure. PLTR rejected again from the trend line, so not very interested in this chart yet. I want to see that pop in volume in this, especially in this current market environment. I want to see pop in volume, break over the trend line, because there is another potential trend line following that. So at least give me some confidence for the entry on this first. Not interested for now. It is a side watch. AMD, we went over all-time high. Got a new all-time high yesterday. Shut down right away. Today, nearly double top on the increasing bear volume. Not an interesting chart. This trend line is not that clear of a trend line, but you can see that this served as support down here, served as resistance up here. support again, resistance again, and we are having trouble breaking over it. Finally did yesterday, broke right back down under on a spiking bear volume. So not particularly interested in participating in this chart. I did play it from back here. Wanted to hold it on the new all-time high back here. Ended up selling at break even somewhere around here. So frustrating chart to play. Learn my lesson from back here. Will not be touching it until clear signal. Fake out, fake out. Not getting faked out twice. Next, NVDA. I believe it's a similar story. Yep. So this chart was even more frustrating. We entered back here, literally on this candle, right on the bottom of this trend line. Then we saw follow through. Next few days, there's a decent gain, but we're anticipating that we wanted to come back to at least touch the upper trend line. Didn't even touch the upper trend line. Might have been my mistake. Let's see if it's something I missed here. Okay, might have been my mistake. That could have been the trend line there. Did not expect that, but anyways, rejected from that potential trend line. Doesn't really seem that clear of a trend line, to be honest. Let's zoom in a little bit here. No, it's not that clear of a trend line. Regardless, we rejected, faded all the way down, broke the main wedge that I was basing the trade off of. Then saw there's potential another trend line from down here, so decided to keep it. Went back up, got sold right immediately that same day. Then from here it's like, okay, are we finally going? Nope, decided to break down through all sorts of trend line. So from this, even though we entered here and we sold on the break of this ADMA, price wise it was an increase, but because we were doing, or I was doing option trade, ended up taking a loss. The time of the sideways action just faded the value of the option. I sort of expected the next day is gonna gap up and run, but I was done with this trade. It's not a trade that will be easy until confirmation. Same with AMD. Just lots of fake outs. Faked out here. Again, yesterday faked out, broke out, came back, gap up, run down. What's going on? Low bear volume. That's the only hope. I do have hope for this chart. I'm still watching it. Lots of upside potential. If we were to break the yesterday's high, we're looking at a high of 573, followed by all-time high of roughly about 590, just under 590. Yeah. Currently not interested. MJ, marijuana, very nice bull flag. Even though it's a gap up, still considered a bull flag because you can look at the extended hours. Still a gap, but still a bull flag. So bull flag looks like this. Oh, sorry, badly drawn, guys. It's not working very well. There we go. So somewhat like this, bull flag with extended hours on, even with extended hours off. Holding the 4-hour 8, one of the most ideal case you want to see, especially on the gap up. So we'll be keeping this trade and potentially adding on a confirmation of a break. Might actually even look at it tomorrow. Today was a nice bounce from the 4-hour 8. Yeah, we'll be looking to add to this trade. And again, that goes for all marijuana sector, or not, maybe not all of them, but the majority, the major tickers at least, and the MSOs too. Should check out Kira, guys. APHA stronger today. Earnings tomorrow. Nope, earnings Thursday. So that could be the reason why we're seeing a run into earnings. Be careful when that happens. Let's get to the last one. Run into earnings, red the day before, gap down. The one before, same idea, run into earnings, gap down. Played this trade, I think it was the last 3 earnings. Yeah, so played the run up, then sold day before earnings. This is a similar idea, a little bit different because we ran up the next day and then kept selling off. But for the last 2, it has been an amazing trade. Basically just runs up, then gap down, and sell off. So anticipate something, potentially something similar. Just be careful if you're in the trade. And since I mentioned it, might as well look at it. Kira. See if it pulls up. Whoa, been a while since I looked at this chart. Bounce from GP/support area a few days, a few weeks back. Very nice. In a clear uptrend momentum. Held at the 88. Decreasing bull volume. RSI resistance. Depends how you want to play this trade. I'm seeing short-term downside, long-term still upside. Look at this run. 3.72 to all the way up here. 400% in 200 trading days. So 10 months, 400%. That's not bad. But yeah, long term still looking up, short term looking down. Next, SCR. Congrats, score bulls. Congrats, score bulls. Look at this beauty. Came down, held at 1.27. I believe it was double bottom. Yeah, it was. Triple bottom. Clear zone to hold. We held it. Came up, retested the upper trend line, rejected. Made a higher low. Passed the GP. Missed my entry. Ran to near that 1-to-1 target of 2.5, which I mentioned a few times in the trading group, and we saw a clear pullback today. Earnings, is it Thursday? Tomorrow. Earnings tomorrow. Keep an eye on it. This is one of the most amazing play for 2021, mainly due to potential legalization of Canadian gambling. So keep your eye on this, and I will be looking to hold into end of 2021. We'll be adding to it too. Next, AC, Air Canada. Nice, made it over to the 88. Alright, so one of the trading team members were messaging me today about AC, seeing how it's set up real nicely. So when I looked at it, we only had one close over the 88 technically. This one, clear close, rejected right after, gap down and sold yesterday. Today we saw some nice bull momentum. This chart, same idea, we'll be holding long, not too worried about it. If we do reject weekly, no, it's a support. Aside from resistances now, I don't really see a reason why we reject further. Maybe we already rejected from the 0.382. So let's see if this was a GP hold. Nope, went down below GP. Actually, technically held it. Gap down below, bought right up, so we didn't close under the GP. Nice entry area. GP hold. No reason. I don't really see any reason why we'd be going down further. From here, we should see a trend reversal. The only resistance, the first resistance is 24 bucks. Then from there, we're looking at up at GP 25.50. Let's watch for the reaction tomorrow. Lots of bulls coming in, hopefully. Suncor. A about to make a new 52-week high. What a wonderful chart. Major resistance 24.08, right underneath it right now on increasing bull volume. Ideally see that break with a follow through tomorrow. We want to see maybe if we have enough bull volume, a touch of this trend line, then from there reject, retest the higher high. So something that looks like this, touch of the upper trend line and retest, and then go up further. Can't really take it right now, but yeah, you get the idea. Last one but not least, VEXT. Big rejection today. We've had an amazing run. This chart, I'm gonna start watching it just to see what the actions look like. I was looking at it from back here. As you can tell, the channel. I played it from the point, nailed the bottom on this one, which is very rare. I think I entered about 0.38. Then it ran to 0.67 bull flag, and then I exited around 0.9. Then stopped looking at it from there. But look at this chart now. It's a back test, GP hold, bounced, did not break the 88, bounce, bull flag, GP hold, and boom. Holy, look at this chart. From November 23rd, 340%. Talk about returns, eh? 340% in 32 trading days, guys. Anyways, we're seeing a pullback right now. Low bear volume, no significant red flag yet. Seeing how it reacts so well to GP, expecting a bounce from 1.17. No divergences. We are overbought. Chart can get extended. If we pass this GP, the idea is to just look for that lower. This one actually makes a bit more sense. Yeah, let's delete this one. This one makes more sense. Previous high lines up with a GP 1.1. That's where I'd be looking for retracement. Alright, that's it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you like the contents I'm putting out, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button for daily updates on videos. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.